Milo stood at the entrance of the Tarkari fleet's command chamber, his human eyes adjusting to the strange green light that filled the enormous hall. The walls pulsed slightly as if alive, and strange symbols moved along the surfaces like they were reading his every thought. He had seen many advanced civilizations, but the Tarkari were unlike anything he had encountered. Their ships were massive, built with materials that seemed to hum with energy, and their technology moved with a rhythm that felt almost alive. The Tarkari queen, Zyra, lay at the center of the chamber, encased in a hovering biocradle. She was magnificent even in her paralyzed state. Her body shimmered with faint patterns of light that indicated life and energy flow. Her many limbs rested motionless and her large, glowing eyes stared blankly ahead. The accident had left her unable to move or speak. She had been the strongest leader the Tarkari fleet had ever known. But now, without her command, the fleet drifted in uncertainty, vulnerable to rival alien factions waiting for a chance to strike. Milo adjusted the strap of his medical kit and took a deep breath. Humans were known for adaptability, but even he felt the weight of the task ahead. All Tarkari medics had tried to heal Zyra. They had used every advanced device, every bioadaptive therapy known to their race, but nothing worked. Their attempts had only left her condition unchanged. The Council of Elders looked at him with skepticism that could have cut steel. A human medic was an anomaly in their eyes, and many believed it would end in failure. Despite this, Milo did not hesitate. His training had always emphasized observation and understanding over rote procedure. Sometimes, he thought, the simplest approach was the most effective, and Zyra's physiology, while alien, still responded to basic principles of biology and energy. He knew that he could make a difference if he approached the problem with care and patience. "Human," said one of the elders, its voice deep and echoing. Its name was Tharik, and he was a guardian of the fleet, a creature of authority whose appearance was intimidating. "You understand that failure will be disastrous. No human has ever attempted such a task. Are you certain you wish to proceed?" Milo nodded. "I am aware of the risks, but I believe there is a chance to succeed. I need to observe her first, understand how her body and nervous system react. That will guide my approach." Tharik's many eyes narrowed. "Observation has already been done. Tarkari medics have examined every nerve, every energy pathway. No human intuition can succeed where science has failed." Milo smiled slightly. "Then I will be the first to try." The council hesitated, debating in low tones. Finally, a soft chime echoed through the chamber, signaling a decision. Milo was allowed to approach Zyra. Every step he took felt heavy with expectation. The chamber was silent except for the hum of energy flowing through the walls, and the occasional soft beep from the biocradle. When he reached Zyra, Milo knelt beside the cradle, careful not to disturb the delicate field keeping her suspended. He studied her energy patterns, the flow of bioluminescent signals that moved across her skin like tiny rivers of light. Most Tarkari medics had tried to stimulate these patterns using complex devices. But Milo noticed something different. The flows were erratic, responding to subtle changes in her environment rather than to direct stimulation. "This is different from anything they tried," Milo muttered quietly, more to himself than anyone else. "Her system is sensitive to more than just mechanical stimuli. I need to understand the emotional and neurological triggers as well." He pulled out a small portable scanner and began reading the energy patterns. Data streamed onto the screen, revealing not only the usual biosignals but also fluctuations that seemed to correspond to fear and shock. Milo realized that Zyra's paralysis was not purely physical. The accident had caused a neurological shutdown, an instinctive protective response that kept her from moving. No Tarkari device could replicate the human ability to rebuild trust and stimulate recovery through empathy. Milo looked up at the elders. "I will need time and patience. This is not just about restoring motion. It is about reconnecting her mind with her body. I must communicate with her in ways they have not tried before." Tharik's multiple eyes blinked slowly. "This is unorthodox. You will have one chance. If you fail, the consequences will be severe. The fleet cannot afford another disaster." "I understand," Milo said. His voice was calm, but inside he felt a rush of determination. "I will do my best." The human medic began his work by observing Zyra for several hours. He spoke softly to her, explaining what he was doing and why. He did not expect her to respond, but he hoped the sound of a voice, the gentle tone, would trigger some awareness in her mind. Slowly, Milo began to notice subtle changes. Her energy patterns, which had been stagnant and chaotic, began to show small rhythmic pulses. It was a sign that she was at least sensing his presence. Encouraged, Milo used a small handheld stimulator to gently interact with her nervous system. He was careful to avoid overloading her, applying only the tiniest impulses. He watched closely, adjusting the settings as he learned more about her reactions. Each pulse, each observation gave him more insight into how her body responded to external stimuli. Hours passed. The elders grew restless, pacing in the chamber. The council whispered in their alien language, doubt and fear in every word. Milo ignored them, focusing solely on Zira. His mind worked like a machine, analyzing data and intuition together. He realized that the key to her recovery was not force or advanced devices. It was understanding her body as a whole and rebuilding the connection between mind and body. Finally, after careful analysis, Milo leaned back and spoke again. I have an idea. Her paralysis is a combination of neurological shock and energy blockage. If I stimulate certain pathways while creating a sense of safety and trust, she may begin to move. Tharik hissed softly. It is too risky. One mistake could kill her. Milo met his gaze steadily. And doing nothing will ensure she never moves again. I am ready to proceed. The council hesitated, but they knew time was running out. Rival fleets could strike at any moment, and the Tarkari could not remain leaderless forever. With a reluctant gesture, Tharik signaled approval. Milo nodded and prepared his equipment. He carefully adjusted the cradle, ensuring that Zira was stable and secure. Then he began the first phase of his procedure. Using gentle stimulation combined with careful monitoring, he worked to awaken her neurological pathways. The room was silent except for the hum of the equipment and Milo's quiet instructions. He encouraged Zira with soft words, explaining that she was safe and that she could try to move. For several tense minutes, nothing happened. The elders leaned forward, holding their breath. Then, almost imperceptibly, one of Zira's claws twitched. Milo noticed immediately. He smiled slightly, a spark of hope lighting his face. She felt it, he said quietly. She is responding, the elders murmured in disbelief. This was a moment they had thought impossible. A human, using nothing but observation, patience, and understanding, had achieved what centuries of Tarkari medicine could not. Milo continued carefully, adjusting his approach based on Zira's responses. Each small movement was celebrated internally, even though he maintained a calm exterior. He knew that the first twitch was only the beginning, and that full recovery would require more effort. As the day turned into night, Milo remained by Zira's side. He documented every change, every pulse of energy, and every small movement. He spoke softly to her, maintaining a connection that no machine could replicate. Slowly, the chamber began to fill with a sense of cautious hope. By the time the first cycle of the Tarkari sun ended, Zira's fingers twitched again, more deliberately this time. Milo allowed himself a small smile. It was a sign that recovery had begun, and that perhaps, just perhaps, a human could succeed where no Tarkari dared. The council exchanged glances. They had been wrong to doubt him. In the silent hall, the impossible seemed possible. Milo looked at Zira and whispered, "We will get through this together. You will move again." For the first time since the accident, a spark of life returned to the Tarkari queen. And in that moment, Milo realized that being human, with all its limitations and simplicity, could sometimes achieve what even the most advanced technology could not. The impossible mission had begun, and the galaxy would soon witness a story of courage, skill, and hope that no one had dared to imagine. The chamber was quiet as Milo continued to work with Zira. Her small movements were the only sign that life still flowed through her alien body. The Tarkari council had withdrawn to the edges of the room, watching silently, their glowing eyes full of doubt and curiosity. For the first time, they were witnessing a human approach to healing that was not bound by strict rules or technology. Milo, with patience and focus, had begun to bridge the impossible gap between human understanding and alien physiology. He leaned closer to Zira's cradle, studying the patterns of her energy flow. Unlike humans, whose nervous system was predictable in its reactions, the Tarkari nervous system responded to both physical and mental stimuli. Tiny pulses of light traveled along her limbs and torso, fading and surging as if she were communicating through energy instead of words. Most Tarkari medics had relied solely on instruments to analyze these patterns. Milo, however, trusted his intuition. He watched, listened, and felt the rhythm of Zira's body. "There is more here than I thought," Milo murmured softly. He ran his hand over a scanner that mapped the energy nodes along her spine. Her paralysis is part mechanical, part psychological. Fear, shock, and trauma are locking her nervous system down. If I address only the physical side, she will never fully recover. The council hissed among themselves. One elder, a tall Tarkari with silver markings across its face, leaned forward. "Human, do you claim you understand our queen better than we do?" "Our science has studied her for cycles. Your intuition cannot match centuries of knowledge." Milo looked up calmly. "Science provides tools, but it cannot always provide understanding. Sometimes patience, observation, and empathy reveal solutions that machines cannot. I need to connect with her in a way you have not tried." The Tarkari Council seemed unconvinced, but they allowed him to continue. Milo had learned early in his career that understanding a patient required more than measurements. He spoke softly to Zira, his voice steady and gentle, describing what he was doing and why. Though she did not respond in words, Milo could sense subtle changes. Her energy flows, which had been chaotic, began to pulse with a slower, more consistent rhythm. He took careful notes and began designing a series of exercises for her. Simple, controlled movements that would stimulate both her mind and body. The first exercise involved focusing on a single limb. Milo held her claw gently and encouraged her to imagine moving it, even if she could not yet physically do so. Her neural pathways, though blocked, responded slightly to the idea. Hours passed and Milo continued. He alternated between careful stimulation and silent observation, monitoring Zira's responses to every action. Slowly, her body reacted in small ways. A finger twitched. A limb shifted slightly. Milo allowed himself a small smile, but he did not rush. He knew that patience was essential. A single mistake could set back her recovery by days or even weeks. During a pause, Milo reviewed the data from his scanners. He discovered patterns that Tarkari medics had overlooked. Zira's energy nodes responded to environmental changes and emotional input. Simple acts of reassurance or calm sounds caused measurable responses. This was unlike human physiology, and yet Milo realized that the principle was familiar. The mind and body were connected. Fear and trauma could block movement, but trust and confidence could restore it. He began using controlled light and sound patterns to guide her energy. Gentle pulses of green light traveled along her limbs, synced with soft tones that Milo generated using a small device from his kit. Each pulse was measured carefully. He watched Zira's responses, adjusting immediately. Her body began to respond more consistently. Her claws twitched in sequence and the faintest movement of her limbs became visible. "Good," Milo whispered. "You are starting to feel safe. That is the first step." The Tarkari Council watched in silence. Some whispered doubts, others watched with awe. They had never seen healing approached in this way. To them, Milo's method seemed almost reckless, yet the results could not be denied. Milo knew that full recovery would take time. He planned the next stage carefully. This would involve stimulating her energy centers directly, while continuing to provide reassurance. Any sudden or forceful intervention could trigger trauma and block further progress. The key, he realized, was balance. He adjusted the cradle to give her slight mobility, allowing small, controlled movements. "We will start with a claw today," he said. "I want you to try moving it. You do not need to succeed fully yet, just attempt it." For several tense moments, nothing happened. Milo kept his voice calm, his hands steady. Then slowly a single claw moved. It was tiny, almost imperceptible, but it was there. Milo felt a surge of hope. "Yes, you did it." "That is amazing," the elders whispered in disbelief. "A human is guiding our queen to movement," one of them said. "We have never seen this before." Milo smiled faintly. "She has always had the strength. She just needed guidance." Encouraged by the success, Milo continued. He introduced more exercises, each designed to stimulate both mind and body. He combined gentle mechanical stimulation with energy guidance, always observing her reactions carefully. Each small success built on the last, gradually restoring Zira's confidence and control over her limbs. By the cycle's end, Zira could move several limbs independently. She could flex her claws and even shift her torso slightly. Milo recorded every detail, noting the responses that were most effective. He knew that the next phase would involve more direct neurological stimulation. But he also knew that trust and patience were the foundation of everything. During a quiet moment, Milo looked at Zira. She remained still in appearance, but her energy patterns told a different story. She was aware, alert, and beginning to respond to the world around her. He spoke softly. "You are stronger than you think. We will continue together, and soon you will be able to move fully." The Tarkari Council approached Milo cautiously. They asked questions about his methods and the reasoning behind each step. Milo explained in simple terms, using analogies from human medicine while respecting Tarkari biology. Slowly, some of the council began to understand. They realized that human intuition, empathy, and adaptability could complement even the most advanced Tarkari technology. A young Tarkari medic, observing quietly, finally spoke. "Perhaps we have been too rigid. Your approach is different, but it is working. The Queen responds to you in ways we cannot explain." Milo nodded. "That is because I focus on the whole being, not just the parts. Movement comes from trust, understanding, and small, consistent steps. Technology alone cannot achieve that." Encouraged by the success, Milo prepared for the next phase. He would begin integrating direct energy stimulation with guided neural exercises. The key would be careful observation and adaptation. Zira's recovery depended on his ability to respond in real time, to notice even the smallest reactions and adjust immediately. As night fell over the Tarkari fleet, the chamber glowed softly with the pulse of energy from Zira's body. Milo remained by her side, monitoring, guiding, and encouraging. The impossible mission had entered its next stage, and the first signs of hope had appeared. A human, small and seemingly fragile in comparison to the mighty Tarkari, was proving that courage, patience, and understanding could achieve what no technology alone could. The chamber was quiet, but within it, a story of determination and hope was unfolding. Milo knew the path ahead would be difficult, but he also knew that Zira had the strength to recover. Together, they had begun a journey that would change not only her fate, but the perception of humanity across the Tarkari fleet. And so, the impossible continued step by step, heartbeat by heartbeat, in a quiet room filled with hope, patience, and the courage to try where others had failed. The chamber felt tense as Milo prepared for the next stage of Zira's recovery. Her small movements over the past cycle had given hope, but full mobility was still distant. The human medic understood that this next step was the most delicate. He would attempt a procedure that no Tarkari had ever dared. It required guiding her neural pathways directly, while maintaining her trust and keeping her energy balanced. One wrong move could undo all progress, but Milo's mind was calm and focused. He had learned that fear only made recovery harder. He approached Zira, kneeling beside her cradle. The soft green glow of her energy pulsed steadily, signaling that her body was ready. Milo spoke quietly, explaining the process in simple words. "We are going to try something new. You will not feel pain, only gentle guidance. I need you to trust me." The Tarkari Council observed silently, their skepticism heavy in the air. Some whispered doubts, questioning the wisdom of allowing a human to intervene so directly. One elder, Tharik, shifted slightly, the silver markings on his face reflecting the soft light. "Human, proceed carefully. We watch and judge your every action. One failure will bring disaster," Milo nodded. "I understand. But doing nothing guarantees failure. We must try." He began by calibrating his equipment. Milo's handheld neural stimulator hummed softly as he connected its probes to Zira's energy nodes. Unlike human patients, her neural pathways did not respond in predictable sequences. They required delicate adjustments, precise timing, and continuous observation. Milo focused on the subtle shifts in energy, adjusting the stimulation based on Zira's micro-reactions. At first, the results were slow. Zira's limbs remained mostly still. Milo did not panic. He continued to observe, speaking gently, maintaining a calm presence. He noticed that her energy flow was irregular, fluctuating with moments of tension and fear. He adjusted the stimulation to encourage relaxation and balance. Slowly, he guided the pulses along her spine and limbs, attempting to reconnect the pathways that had been blocked by trauma. Hours passed. Milo worked tirelessly, alternating between stimulation and rest periods. He encouraged Zira to focus her mind, to imagine moving her claws, her torso, and eventually her limbs. Each time she imagined a movement, he carefully applied a precise pulse to guide her nerves. It was painstaking work, but Milo could see the effects. A claw twitched. A leg shifted slightly, Small, incremental movements marked the first signs of recovery. The Tarkari Council leaned forward, their voices hushed. They had never witnessed a procedure that relied so much on observation, patience, and empathy. Technology alone could not achieve these results. Milo's method seemed almost instinctive, guided by understanding rather than calculation. Some of the elders began to realize that human intuition could be a valuable complement to their advanced devices. Suddenly, a warning signal from the stimulator sounded. Zyra's energy flows had spiked unpredictably. Milo froze for a moment, analyzing the readings. She is responding too strongly. The pulse is too intense for her current state, he murmured. He adjusted the settings, lowering the intensity and slowing the frequency. Immediately, the reading stabilized. Milo's calm and careful intervention prevented a potential setback. Good, he whispered to Zyra. You are safe. We can continue. The procedure continued through the cycle. Milo guided her through small exercises, each designed to stimulate specific neural pathways. He applied gentle pressure, encouraging movements and watching every micro-reaction. Slowly, Zyra's body responded. Her claws flexed independently. Her limbs shifted and her torso twisted slightly. Each success, though small, was a breakthrough. Milo encouraged Zyra verbally, praising each movement. He understood that her mind needed reassurance just as much as her body needed stimulation. You are doing very well. Keep going. We are making progress together. The council observed in awe as Zyra's energy patterns became more organized. The chaotic fluctuations that had marked her paralysis were fading. Milo's approach, combining technology, careful observation, and human empathy, was proving effective. Even the most skeptical elders could not deny the results. A young Tarkari medic, standing near the edge of the chamber, whispered to a colleague. He is using methods we never considered. It is working. She is responding. Encouraged, Milo advanced to more complex exercises. He guided Zyra's attention to multiple limbs simultaneously, coordinating neural stimulation with gentle commands. The first few attempts were unsteady. Zyra's energy spiked unexpectedly and Milo had to quickly adjust. But with careful timing and continuous observation, the procedure began to show consistent results. Her movements became more deliberate, more controlled. Milo felt a surge of hope. The small successes of the past cycles were becoming meaningful progress. Zyra's body was reconnecting with her mind and her energy flows were stabilizing. It was not a complete recovery yet, but it was proof that the impossible could be achieved. He paused for a moment, reviewing the data. We are close, he said quietly. Just a little more effort and we can restore full mobility. The Tarkari Council whispered among themselves, admiration and disbelief in their voices. They had never seen a human perform such a delicate procedure with such precision and understanding. Milo's combination of skill, intuition, and empathy was unlike anything they had encountered. Milo continued, guiding Zyra through exercises that coordinated multiple energy nodes. He applied pulses in a specific sequence, encouraging her nervous system to reconnect. Slowly, her torso twisted, her claws moved independently, and her limbs flexed with growing confidence. Each movement was small but significant. Hours turned into a full cycle. Milo remained by her side, monitoring every detail, adjusting his methods and speaking softly to encourage her. Zyra's recovery was fragile, but it was progressing steadily. The impossible was becoming possible. By the end of the cycle, Zyra was able to move her limbs with more control than ever before. She could flex her claws, twist her torso, and even attempt to lift her head. Milo allowed himself a small smile, though he remained focused. The next phase would involve refining her movements and preparing her for complete mobility. The council approached Milo cautiously, their expressions a mixture of awe and respect. Human, Tharik said. Your methods are strange, but the results are undeniable. You have achieved what no Tarkari dared attempt. Milo nodded. It is not just the methods. It is patience, observation, and trust. Zyra has the strength. She needed guidance to unlock it. The young medic, who had observed quietly, stepped forward. Perhaps we have been too rigid. Your approach is different, but it works. We can learn from this, Milo smiled faintly. That is the goal, to combine understanding, empathy, and skill to achieve results. Technology alone is not enough. As the chamber quieted, Milo prepared Zyra for rest. He carefully adjusted the cradle, ensuring her body remained supported and her energy balanced. He spoke softly, praising her progress and encouraging continued recovery. You have done well today. Rest now. Tomorrow we will continue and your strength will grow. The chamber glowed softly with her energy as Milo reviewed the data. He recorded every movement, every response, and every subtle change. Each detail was a step toward restoring full mobility. He understood that the journey was not yet complete, but the foundation had been built. Outside the chamber, the Tarkari fleet remained tense, aware that their leader's recovery could determine their survival. Yet inside, a story of courage, skill, and human ingenuity was unfolding. Milo, small and unassuming in the eyes of many, had taken on the impossible mission and was succeeding where others had failed. The night passed quietly, and Milo remained vigilant. Zyra's energy flows stabilized further, and her movements became more deliberate. The path ahead was still difficult, but Milo knew they were on the right track. With patience, observation, and human determination, full recovery was within reach. For the Tarkari Council, the impossible was no longer a distant idea. It was happening before their eyes. A human had stepped into their world, defied their expectations, and begun a journey to restore their queen. And in doing so, he had shown that courage, intelligence, and understanding could achieve what even the most advanced technology could not. Milo looked at Zyra one last time before leaving the chamber. "We will succeed," he whispered. "Together we will achieve what no one thought possible." The chamber hummed softly, a quiet reminder that hope had returned. The impossible procedure had begun, and the galaxy would soon witness the story of a human who dared to try where others feared to act. The next cycle dawned over the Tarkari fleet, and the chamber glowed with the soft hum of Zyra's energy. Milo had been at her side throughout the night, monitoring her recovery and adjusting his methods as needed. The small movements from the previous cycle had given both hope and insight. Today he intended to take the next significant step, helping Zyra regain control over multiple limbs simultaneously and begin coordinating her body with her mind. Milo knelt beside the cradle, scanning Zyra's energy nodes. Each pulse now moved with more regularity than before. Her body was responding to his guidance, and the neurological pathways that had been blocked were slowly reconnecting. "You are stronger than you realize," Milo whispered. "We will take it step by step. I know you can do this." Zyra's large eyes flickered, almost as if acknowledging his words. Though she could not speak, Milo sensed awareness in her subtle energy shifts. He activated his stimulator, carefully sending gentle pulses along her spine and limbs. Unlike before, he did not focus on one limb at a time. Today he guided her through coordinated sequences, encouraging her to use multiple limbs together. The task was challenging for both medic and queen, but Milo remained patient, adjusting the stimulation and providing quiet encouragement. At first, her movements were uneven. One claw would flex too early, a limb would lag, or her torso would tilt unexpectedly. Milo quickly adapted, changing the timing of the pulses and modulating the energy. "It's okay," he murmured. "We are learning together. Each attempt brings you closer to control." Hours passed and Milo remained focused. Slowly, Zyra's body began to respond more smoothly. Her claws flexed in sequence, her legs shifted with coordination, and her torso rotated with increasing control. Each success was small but significant. Milo noted every detail, recording the progress meticulously. This data would be vital for the final stages of her recovery. The Tarkari Council observed quietly, their skepticism fading. They had witnessed many procedures, but none had combined empathy, patience, and observation so effectively. Some of the younger medics began to take notes, realizing that Milo's human methods held lessons even for the most advanced Tarkari technology. One elder whispered to another, "Perhaps we underestimated the human approach. The queen responds in ways we cannot explain." Encouraged, Milo introduced the next stage. He guided Zyra's attention to her upper limbs while stimulating her lower limbs to respond simultaneously. This required precise timing and careful observation. Any misstep could cause fatigue or regression, but Milo adjusted continuously, watching every micro-reaction. Zyra's energy nodes flickered and pulsed, gradually synchronizing under his guidance. By mid-cycle, Zyra began moving with increasing confidence. Her claws flexed deliberately, her limbs lifted and shifted as intended, and her torso rotated smoothly. Milo spoke softly, praising each successful motion. "Very good. You are regaining control. Keep going. You are doing amazing." The young Tarkari medics watched in awe. They had never seen a patient recover with such care and precision. Milo's approach was simple in concept, but powerful in execution. He combined technology with human understanding, intuition, and empathy, elements that Tarkari medicine often overlooked. Slowly, a sense of admiration replaced skepticism among the council. Milo decided it was time to integrate mental exercises with physical rehabilitation. He instructed Zira to focus on visualizing her movements before attempting them. This mental guidance, combined with his neural stimulation, strengthened the reconnection between mind and body. Zira's movements became smoother and more purposeful. For the first time since her accident, she began to regain a sense of independence. The breakthrough continued. Zira flexed her claws in sequence, lifted her legs simultaneously, and rotated her torso with coordination. Milo guided her through more complex movements, gradually increasing the difficulty. Each success reinforced her confidence and strengthened her neural connections. He encouraged her with quiet words, maintaining a calm and reassuring presence. Hours turned into a full cycle, and Milo had guided Zira through continuous exercises. Her body was responding consistently and her energy flows had become stable. The chaotic signals that had marked her paralysis were fading. Milo knew that full mobility was now within reach. He had laid the foundation, and the next steps would refine her control and strength. The council approached Milo cautiously, their expressions a mixture of respect and disbelief. "Human," Tharik said. "Your methods are unconventional, but the results are undeniable. The Queen's recovery exceeds all expectations. You have accomplished what no Tarkari medic dared attempt." Milo shook his head slightly. "It is not about me. It is about patience, observation, and trust. Zira has the strength. She just needed guidance to realize it." A young Tarkari medic stepped forward. "We have learned something important today. Your approach shows that understanding and empathy can complement our technology. We can integrate these methods to improve future treatment." Milo smiled. "That is the goal. Combining understanding, empathy, and skill can achieve results that technology alone cannot." As the day progressed, Milo continued to refine Zira's movements. He introduced more complex exercises that required coordination between multiple limbs and torso control. Each exercise strengthened her confidence and rebuilt the neural pathways necessary for full mobility. Zira's energy flows became smooth and balanced, a sign that her body was responding positively to the stimulation. By the end of the cycle, Zira could move several limbs simultaneously with control and confidence. Her movements were not yet perfect, but the progress was remarkable. Milo allowed himself a small smile, knowing that the next cycle would bring even greater improvement. He had guided the Queen through the most difficult stages of recovery, and now the path to full mobility was clear. The Tarkari Council gathered around, their expressions a mix of awe and gratitude. They had witnessed a human achieve what they had thought impossible. Milo's approach had demonstrated that courage, skill, and understanding could accomplish more than technology alone. The fleet had a renewed sense of hope, knowing that their Queen was regaining strength and control. Milo spoke quietly to Zira, who remained in her cradle. "You are doing very well. Soon, you will have full control over your body. Keep trusting yourself and continue to focus on your movements. Together we will succeed." Outside the chamber, the Tarkari fleet sensed a change. Word of the Queen's recovery began to spread quietly, inspiring confidence among the officers and crew. The once uncertain and vulnerable fleet now felt hope. They knew that with Zira regaining strength, their leadership and unity would return. As night fell, Milo remained vigilant, monitoring Zira's energy and guiding her through exercises. Her movements were more deliberate and controlled than ever before. The impossible had become possible, and the path to full recovery was visible. Milo understood that patience, observation, and human determination had made this breakthrough possible. The chamber was quiet, but within it, a story of courage, skill, and hope unfolded. A human had stepped into a situation that seemed hopeless, faced doubt and skepticism, and guided a paralyzed Queen toward recovery. The breakthrough was not just physical. It was a testament to the power of understanding and empathy. Milo looked at Zira, whose energy pulsed steadily with control and confidence. "We are almost there," he whispered. "Your strength is returning and soon you will move freely. We will finish this together." The Tarkari Council observed silently, witnessing a human redefine what was possible. Milo's efforts had proven that courage and intelligence could achieve results that even advanced technology could not. The breakthrough had begun, and the galaxy would soon see the story of a human who dared to try where others feared to act. As Milo prepared for rest, he carefully adjusted Zyra's cradle to maintain her stability and energy balance. He reviewed the data from the cycle, noting every successful movement and every subtle improvement. Each detail was a step closer to complete recovery. Tomorrow, Milo would guide Zyra through the final exercises, helping her regain full mobility. But tonight he allowed himself to feel the quiet satisfaction of success. The impossible breakthrough had been achieved, and hope was alive in the chamber for the first time in many cycles. The human medic had shown the Tarkari that courage, patience, and understanding could accomplish what centuries of technology and tradition had failed to do. And in doing so, he had planted the seed of respect for humanity that would grow across the Tarkari fleet. The chamber was alive with quiet energy as Milo prepared Zyra for the final phase of her recovery. Her movements had improved tremendously over the past cycles. Claws flexed independently, limbs shifted with coordination, and her torso rotated smoothly. Today, Milo would guide her to regain full mobility, a feat no Tarkari had thought possible. He approached her cradle, speaking softly. Today we will complete what we started. Your body has grown strong. Your mind has learned to guide it. Together we can restore full movement. Zyra's large eyes flickered, signaling awareness. Milo could feel her confidence growing through her energy pulses. He began the first exercise, guiding her through coordinated movements of multiple limbs. Unlike previous cycles, Zyra responded quickly and deliberately. Each motion was smoother, more controlled. Milo adjusted the neural stimulator as needed, ensuring the pulses complemented her natural energy flow. The Tarkari Council observed silently, a mix of awe and disbelief on their faces. They had witnessed miraculous progress, but the full restoration of the Queen's strength seemed almost beyond imagining. Milo's methods, observation, patience, empathy, and precise stimulation had produced results no technology alone could achieve. Hours passed as Milo guided Zyra through complex sequences. She flexed claws and moved limbs in coordinated patterns. Her torso rotated with precision. Milo encouraged her verbally, praising each successful movement. Excellent. You are doing brilliantly. Keep going. You are stronger than you realize. Small successes became larger ones. Zyra began to lift her head slightly, her eyes scanning the chamber with awareness. She flexed all her claws in sequence and shifted her legs simultaneously. Milo adjusted the stimulator carefully, ensuring each neural pathway remained active and responsive. By mid-cycle, Zyra was able to stand fully in the cradle, supporting herself with her limbs. Her movements were deliberate, controlled, and balanced. The once paralyzed queen now demonstrated the strength and coordination that had been thought lost forever. Milo stepped back for a moment, observing her. You have done it, he said quietly. Your body is whole again. Your strength has returned. The Tarkari Council gasped, unable to hide their astonishment. Tharik, the elder who had doubted Milo the most, stepped forward. This is beyond anything we imagined. The Queen moves with control and precision. A human has restored her strength. Your methods are extraordinary. Milo shook his head. It is not me. It is the combination of trust, patience, and understanding. Zyra had the strength all along. She only needed guidance. Zyra lifted her head higher, and for the first time her voice resonated across the chamber. Though faint and measured, it carried authority and power. I feel strength returning. I can move freely. I am grateful. The council bowed slightly, showing respect to both their queen and Milo. The room was filled with a quiet sense of accomplishment and awe. The impossible had been achieved. A young Tarkari medic approached Milo cautiously. Your approach has taught us something important. Technology alone is not enough. We must consider patience, observation, and understanding in our healing. We have much to learn from you. Milo nodded. That is the purpose. Healing is not just about tools or devices. It is about understanding the patient, observing carefully, and guiding them with patience. That applies to all species, not just humans. Outside the chamber, the fleet felt a shift. Word of the Queen's recovery spread quickly among the crew. Officers and soldiers whispered in amazement. A human had restored their leader's strength, proving that courage and intelligence could achieve what had seemed impossible. Confidence and morale surged across the Tarkari fleet. Milo continued to guide Zira through exercises, helping her refine her movements. Each sequence strengthened her body and her confidence grew. By the end of the cycle, Zira could move freely, flex all her limbs, and stand without support. She had regained full control over her body, a testament to both her own resilience and Milo's guidance. The council gathered around, showing gratitude and respect. "Human," Tharek said, "you have done more than heal our queen. You have shown us the power of understanding and empathy. You have earned a place of honor among us." Milo shook his head humbly. "I only did what was needed. Zira had the strength. I simply guided her to discover it." Zira moved closer to Milo, her presence commanding yet grateful. She extended a claw, and Milo carefully shook it in the human gesture of respect. "You have restored me," she said. "Not only my body, but my confidence. The fleet will follow again because of you. You have my gratitude." The Tarkari Council whispered among themselves, realizing that humans possessed qualities that even the most advanced civilizations could overlook. Courage, patience, empathy, and adaptability were strengths that complemented their technology. Milo had proven that humans could make a difference not by force but by understanding and skill. As the cycle continued, Milo taught Zira new exercises to strengthen her coordination and stamina. She followed his guidance, demonstrating remarkable speed in learning and responding. The chamber was filled with a quiet energy, a testament to the teamwork between human and Tarkari queen. By the end of the cycle, Zira stood fully independent, her limbs moving gracefully and confidently. She addressed the council, her voice steady and commanding. "I am whole again. Thanks to this human, I have regained my strength. Let it be known across the fleet that courage, skill, and understanding can achieve what even advanced technology cannot." The council bowed deeply. The fleet outside rejoiced quietly. The impossible mission had succeeded, and respect for humanity had spread across the Tarkari forces. Milo's work had not only healed their queen but inspired hope and admiration for human ingenuity. Milo stood beside Zira, quietly proud, but humble. "You have done all the work," he said softly. "I only guided you." "Your strength is remarkable," Zira nodded. "Together we have proven that cooperation and understanding can overcome any obstacle. The fleet will follow, and humanity will be respected as allies and partners in the stars." The Tarkari fleet now had a renewed sense of purpose. Their queen was strong again, and they had witnessed the extraordinary abilities of a human. Milo's courage and skill had bridged the gap between species, showing that determination, patience, and understanding could achieve what had once been impossible. Outside the chamber, the stars shimmered brightly. Ships moved with renewed confidence, and the fleet felt united under the leadership of a fully recovered queen. Milo had become more than a human medic. He had become a symbol of hope and ingenuity. Zira approached him one last time. "Human," she said, her voice filled with respect. "You have done more than heal me. You have earned my trust and the trust of my fleet. The galaxy will remember this." Milo smiled faintly. "I am honored. But it is not about recognition. It is about doing what is right and helping when you can. That is what makes the difference." The Tarkari Council nodded, acknowledging the wisdom in his words. The fleet had witnessed a story of courage, skill, and understanding that would be remembered for cycles to come. Milo had shown that humans, though few in number, could make a lasting impact on civilizations across the stars. As the chamber quieted, Milo looked at Zira. Her energy flowed steadily, her movements graceful and strong. The journey was complete. The impossible had been achieved. Humanity had earned respect, not through force but through intelligence, courage, and the willingness to help. The stars outside the Tarkari fleet sparkled with possibility. A human had shown that even in a galaxy filled with advanced civilizations, empathy, patience, and determination could triumph. The fleet would follow their queen confidently, and humans would be remembered as allies who could face impossible challenges and succeed. Milo stood silently, proud of the work done and the lives touched. He had completed the impossible mission. The Tarkari queen was whole, the fleet was inspired, and humanity had earned a place of respect among the stars. And so the story ended with hope, courage, and the quiet power of a human who dared to try where others had failed. Milo's journey had proven that even the smallest gestures of understanding and skill could change the course of a fleet, a civilization, and perhaps the galaxy itself. The impossible had become reality, and a human medic had shown that heroism often comes not from strength alone, but from courage, patience, and the desire to help others succeed.